My name is Sayyeda Jafri, and I am a student at York University. Today, I'm going to take you through my daily route back home from school. So, I normally end class at around 10 p.m., which is when I try my best to rush out. I then take out my headphones to listen to music because it makes me feel safer and less alone, especially when it's pitch black outside and there aren't too many people out. I make my way to the subway station, which takes around 10 minutes to walk to. I try my best to walk in more populated places, but again, there aren't too many people out during this time. I'm very well aware of my surroundings when walking, because you never know what kind of creep is going to show up and do something. It's a scary feeling, but it's an unfortunate reality. So I walk fast, but without attracting too much attention. There's fear, but I try to keep it to myself. As I enter the subway station, there tends to be some creepy man standing there, and at times, I will get catcalled. I just speed walk past. I take the stairs down, tap my Presto through, and go to the subway platform to wait for the train, usually for a decent amount of time as TTC tends to not be reliable. It's crazy to me how it is not a commonly accepted belief that a solid investment in public transit and intercity rail systems, especially when paired with a good government policies on renewable energy production and domestic supply procurement plans, would continue to offer benefits to Canadians in terms of having accessible and affordable public transit that obviously benefits commuters, but also benefits the environment. If there was a better, more reliable transit infrastructure, people would see the benefit in using it rather than using their own cars, which just adds to excessive CO2 emissions. When I get on the train, I try to find a seat that seems safe. Sometimes I just stand. At times, there is a rowdy drunk passenger who starts coming down my direction.
Spare some change.
At which point I debate whether or not I should move away. Sometimes I wonder how someone in a wheelchair or someone with accessibility concerns would handle this situation. I can't imagine how difficult it would be for them because they have a limited ability to move themselves from an uncomfortable situation. It's just annoying that our safety is something that we still have to worry about. When thinking of this systemic issue further, it really is an Ontario human rights violation. Our Human Rights Code is there to protect the basic human rights of all citizens. A recent report from the Ontario Human Rights Commission addresses the importance of recognizing accessible public transportation so that everyone can equally participate in their communities. This report exemplifies the importance of accessible and reasonably priced public transportation and how that is a human right. The recent cuts that have been made by our provincial government are affecting Ontarians' human rights, which is a constitutional violation. For the betterment of all Ontarians and the respect of their basic rights, these cuts need to be reversed. After about 8 minutes, I get off at my stop, Highway 407 station. After exiting the subway, I make my way to the GO bus stop, where I get on the GO bus that takes me home. This is actually something that I used to not have to do. There actually used to be a GO bus that would take me directly from York University to the stop near my house, but that same GO bus no longer stops at the university. So, as a result, my lack of safety has dramatically increased, and I also now have to spend more money and more time to get to and from school, which is obviously very upsetting. The reason for this change is actually due to the Ford government cuts. I just can't wrap my head around the reasoning for inconveniencing so many students who already have a hard time commuting. And don't even get me started on students with disabilities who now have a much more complicated way to and from school. I just think these public transit cuts not only cause a financial burden, but also a great barrier to those who live with disabilities. So continuing on with my commute back home, I get on the GO bus, tap my Presto, and find a seat. I again try to find a seat that feels safe, usually meaning that there aren't too many people around. After about a 20-minute ride, I get off at my stop. The bus drops me off about a 10-minute walk from my house, so I try to make my way home as fast as possible, avoiding any possible encounter. After I get home, I usually put my bag down and grab a snack to eat while sitting down in relief that nothing horrible happened to me. It's just really frustrating that I have to go through this 5 times a week just so that I can get an education. I often feel as though getting my education and completing my studies in politics is more for the benefit of obtaining a financially secure future, not out of my love for my studies. The thoughts of what it means to be part of a neoliberal university, where education is more about money than a legitimate care for learning, consume my frustrated thoughts on my long commute home. It is a tiring feeling thinking that institutions like schools and public transit systems see me purely as a number and as a commodity. And that's the end to my commute back home from school on a regular night. I really hope this changes someday soon, at least for future students.